Welcome back to the channel. This game continues the Commonwealth Championship played in London in 1985. This is the round 8 game, and Nigel's opponent was Daniel King, and I am from England. The game started as Sicilian defence. And the Nigel variation. Black stakes the claim in the centre. And here King plays b6. Maybe knight to c5, putting pressure on the e-pawn would have been a better option. And here Black plays quite a committal move, e5, trying to stake a claim in the centre, but leaves a great big hole on f5 for the knight. Nigel duly jumps into the square. Pawn takes e5 might have been slightly more accurate, but he takes it anyway. And now the knight finds a nice square on h6, cramps the black position. Black doesn't want to trade the knight, and it stops black castling. White castles, and the queen comes out to c7. Bishop comes out and puts pressure on the f6 knight, which makes quite a radical choice in offering a trade to the knight on h6. So we can see now that black can already knock kingside castle, and white has a very nice position. And here I think black plays the first real mistake of the game and plays h5. I think f6 has to be played to try and get the king to safety once the bishop moves either on f7 or the more risky queenside castles. Nigel lines up the queen against the f7 square. Queen to d2 would have been just as good. Black defends, and the bishop comes out of the way of the knight attack and opens up the f file. And here black makes a very radical choice in trying to stop the pressure, and in f5, a weakening move that invites pressure along the f file, and obviously still can't castle because of the bishop on g5. Maybe something like knight to d7 would have been better. And once the knights are traded, he can play for f6 and maybe queenside castle, and he's still got a bit of fight, but white is still clearly better with the bishop pair, and black's pawn structure looks very, very weak. But he chose f5, and after a trade of pawns on f5, the queen just simply sidesteps the rook, putting pressure on the rook and asking the question as to what it's doing. It trades off, which now gives white the completely open f file, and the king looks very, very weak in the centre. And I think this is probably the final mistake of the game. Black plays queen to c6, obviously lining up on the diagonal to g2, but allows white's next move, which is knight to b5, which is a very good move, and puts pressure on the d6 pawn. Obviously can't be taken because the bishop takes b5, pinning the queen. Not easy to see what black can play here. Maybe something like bishop to f8. After bishop to f6, I think he has to give the queen check on f2, g2, and loses a piece that way. Otherwise, bishop takes e5, and white's going to come crashing through the centre. But king opts for queen takes c2, which is probably another mistake. although it's unclear as to what he would have played. I don't think there was a good move in the position. Queen to F3, H3, threatening queen. Knight takes D6 mate. The knight blocks, but after bishop takes pawn, bishop takes knight, and queen to E3 check. In this position, king resigned. There's a number of moves you can play, but none of them are any good. King to D7 allows mate into bishop to E4, but again, knight takes D6. We'll pick the bishop up. And bishop to E5. Even again, knight takes D6 because the bishop's pinned. And you'll pick up the bishop on B6, B7 even. So a very nice game from Nigel. Mainly Black's position was caused by his inability to castle and getting his king trapped in the centre. This moved Nigel nearer to the lead. He was still a point behind with a few draws, but he was unbeaten in the tournament. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the game. And I'll be back with another game from the Commonwealth Championships in due course. Bye for now.